This is what the narcissist can't outrun. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, outrun, what does that mean? Outrunning means you're trying to beat something. You're hoping that something isn't going to catch up with you. An example, you are in the wilderness, you're in the woods, and something is stalking you. You're trying to outrun a predator. Maybe it's a grizzly bear, maybe you're in the Serengeti and it's a cheetah or a leopard or something, some kind of predator. Maybe you're in the Amazon rainforest and there's a huge anaconda. You're trying to outrun it. You're trying to get away from it. Well, this is what the narcissist is trying to do with everything. They're trying to outrun Father Time. They're trying to outrun what they've done. They're trying to outrun all the ghosts and the demons that continue to haunt them. They're trying to outrun the truth. They are trying to outrun the past. They're trying to outrun what they have done. What the narcissist is beginning to realize all over this planet called Earth is that things are starting to catch up with them. Now, again, you may think, well, not really. The person that I know just discarded me a couple of years ago and they're living their best life. They're drinking Mai Tais in Tahiti and they look like they've just lost 20 pounds. They've got the best suntan in the world. Well, that's an appearance. It's an illusion, and it's probably a filter on one of their 3 smartphones. You need to understand who the narcissist is at their core. They are a parasite. They are a person who's looking to take and take and take. And when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, you got it. They want to take more. This is what the narcissist did with you. It's what they're doing right now, and it's what they'll be doing for years to come until they take their last breath. They're always on the go, which is why the narcissist can't sit still, which is why the narcissist is loyal to nobody, which is why they care about nobody other than themselves, which is also why anybody, and I mean anybody, is expendable or replaceable in the eyes of the narcissist, which means they could just dump somebody today and insert a new supply tomorrow as if it's nothing, as if it's a new pair of shoelaces, because that's what people are to the narcissist. They're similar to shoelaces. People are what I call abilities or capabilities or avenues of supply or opportunity. So what opportunities did you provide for the narcissist when you were with them? I can assure you a couple of them. One was probably money. The other was time. Another was access. Another was empathy. Another was love, respect, teaching them. You taught them so much. I can assure you, you taught them way more than you'll ever know, although they probably acted like they taught you everything and they didn't teach you anything other than what toxicity is. But this is what the narcissist is trying to outrun. They're trying to outrun something on this planet called Earth that they don't understand is going to follow them forever. It will always be in their energy. It's always going to be in their sphere. It's always going to be swarming around them. Think about this. When you go to bed tonight, you're going to put your head on the pillow, and my hope is you had a great day. But what you're going to do is you're going to say, I am so grateful to be out of the narcissistic relationship. You put my head on the pillow. Maybe you say a few prayers. Maybe you practice gratitude. Maybe you review what you did that day. Maybe you're planning for tomorrow. But whatever you're doing, you will be able to put your head down, at least that's my hope, and go to sleep. Well, that's what I do each and every day. But back when I was caught trapped up in the narcissistic abusive cycle, I was sleep deprived. I was being counter-parenting. I was counter-parented. I was not being co-parented with. I was being treated less than a complete stranger. I was being devalued, disrespected, diminished, taken for granted if I didn't say that, and eventually my supply source ran out, just like it always runs out with every human being. Picture, if you will, a battery. As I shared with you in the past, batteries, let's say they have a full charge, that's 100%. You were a battery that the narcissist was inserting into their life so you could be the person who catapulted them from one leg of their life to the next leg. Once your battery ran below, let's say 8, 10, 6%, they would take that out, throw it in the bin, insert a new battery, i.e. supply, i.e. person, i.e. utility, i.e. opportunity. I hope you're getting where I'm going with all this. But the narcissist can't outrun A, Father Time, B, what they've done, and C, the truth. So many more people on the planet this very day and going forward, and I'm one of them certainly, are becoming more and more awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and we are realizing not only that we are stronger than we know, but that we were targeted and that everything we've ever wanted was always within ourselves. Now right there, I just unpacked a whole bunch of wisdom for you, and maybe that doesn't click with you right now, maybe it does. The whole point of that part of the video is to let you know you're not outrunning anything. What you're doing is you're processing the relationship, you're processing what narcissism is, you're understanding what level of empathy you have, you are also realizing that you were targeted, and you will have to learn terms in the definition and the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle. Example, what is gaslighting? What is a rage fit? What is triangulation, my least favorite thing that these creatures implement? What is financial abuse? I'm sure you didn't know what that was. What is the silent treatment? What is projection? On and on. Future faking, moving goalposts. There are so many different definitions you will have to learn, and more wisdom or more information or education is becoming prevalent each and every day on the planet. Side note, pro tip, for any of the content you are consuming referencing specifically toxic human behavior, I strongly suggest you're getting it from a source who knows what they're talking about. I strongly suggest you get it from somebody who has lived it. The pro tip, the side note is done. I'm just hoping that you get value from whatever content you're consuming, and I mean any content. And I'll give you an example of why I just shared that. When you were with a narcissist, you thought that they were legitimate. You thought that they were the love of your life, the yin to your yang, your soulmate, the person that completed you, and that they were honest and transparent and authentic. Well, it turned out that they weren't. Now, if you apply what I just shared with you with the avenues of information that you are acquiring, you need to know where you're getting your information from, that it's a reliable source, that it is reputable, and that it knows what it's talking about, which is why I create videos each and every day. You see, at one point, I was the new supply, as were you. At one point, I had no idea what narcissism was, as did you. At one point, I finally cracked the code about 3 weeks after the discard and figured it out against all odds during a pandemic in between holidays, and I was left for dead. Yes, I was. I said it. But guess what? I figured it out. And when I figured it out, I went to work on myself. I had a mountain of work in front of me, and I realized I had a lot of catching up to do because the narcissist was trying to outrun what they had just done to me, which is what they had done to you. You see, the narcissist thinks it's all going to be puppies and rainbows and snickerdoodles and unicorns and butterflies and Twinkies as soon as they discard somebody, because in the narcissist tiny little pea brain, once they discard somebody, usually they think that that person is never going to heal. They're never going to put themselves back together, and they'll stay stuck pining for the narcissist or wondering whatever happened. Essentially, they'll be frozen in time. They won't be able to advance. Well, that's not what happened with me, and it's not what's happening with a lot of people these days, which means more and more people are understanding that the person with the baggage and the toxicity, it's not them, it's the narcissist. The person with the loudest voice and who claimed to be a certain person was the narcissist. The person wearing a mask, you got it, was the narcissist. And again, the person who was outrunning everything was the narcissist. Think about this. When you were in the beginning of the relationship with them, did the beginning of that relationship move at light speed? I'm sure it did. It probably moved rather quickly. You probably went from not even knowing that person's name to not being able to say their name or to stop thinking about them. How did I know that? You got it, because I am in tune, and I've been in the cycle, and I know what it's like to be peppered with abuse and to be trapped in the trauma bond, to be caught up in the devaluation stage, to be peppered with abuse more and more and more as I was unable to figure out what was going on with me. That's what you've done, or that's what you're doing. But having said that, when somebody lives in your mind rent-free and they are continuing to pepper you with abuse, essentially brainwash you, which is what the narcissist does, and you don't know what the wisdom is, you don't have it, you don't know that narcissism exists, you are very vulnerable, you're naive, you're uneducated, and you are becoming a human piñata. Now, the human piñata, not being funny by any means, but that's what I was, that's what you were. Because every time you woke up, or every time the front door opened, you were always holding your breath. You were walking on eggshells. What you didn't realize is that when that front door would open, that the person that would open that front door, yes, the narcissist, they were running from something. And they were running away from many things, but you thought they were going home to you, to a safe space, and you thought that you were the person who would be there and grow old with them together. That's not what they thought. They thought, okay, well, I've got this person, which is you, at home, and they will be there for me. They will cook, clean, be the indentured servant, the unpaid helper, maybe the intimate partner, and more. And when and I'm acting like the narcissist, and I'm not, when I go out in the real world, I will do whatever I do, try to drum up some more business in the narcissistic abusive front, and I will try to take shortcuts and cheat and lie and steal and do what I do. But if it doesn't go my way, I can still go home and pepper this person, which was you, and it was me, with all my abuse and all my toxicity. Because when you are living with the narcissist, what that is called, it's called built-in supply. Now you may say, what is built-in supply? I've never heard of that. Well, built-in supply is just what I shared with you. It's a person who's living with the narcissist, and the narcissist knows that that person's going nowhere because that person's now living with them. And this means the narcissist can run the roost, or they can come home, they can break cabinets, they can throw dishes, they can smash glasses, they can slam doors, they can give the silent treatment, they can triangulate you, they can do whatever they want to, because now you, this is in the past when you were living with them, you were trapped and captured in your own house that I'm sure you were paying for in more ways than one. So built-in supply to the narcissist, this is why they get married. This is why they want to keep their supply sources guarded, insulated, isolated, and for themselves. As I shared with you earlier, remember, the narcissist is a parasite. They're looking for a host. Once they find a host that they can feed off of, they don't want any other toxic person anywhere near that person. They want to be able to feed off that person themselves. Now that sounds gruesome, it sounds graphic, it sounds from the underworld and toxic and very bizarre, but it's all true. Remember, there are many different types of people. On one end, you have the narcissist and other types which are actually worse. At the other end, you have the real empath, which is who I am, and my hope is it's who you are. Side note, pro tip again, if you're an empath or if you have a high level of empathy, you should embrace it, because many people don't have nearly the level of empathy you have. Many people don't even know what empathy is, and many people that are empaths don't even know that that's what they are, and they're not really accustomed to embracing it and owning it. I embrace it, I own it, I've always owned it, and I've always known it, and I'm proud of who I am. Remember, this is your fingerprint. This is what makes you you. This is what the narcissist wanted to take from you, so you didn't have a fingerprint, so you would become just like all the other Barbie dolls and Ken dolls, caught up and stuck in that closet of abuse with the light switch turned off. That is not you any longer. Now you understand that all the baggage that was dumped into you and on you is all that of the narcissist, and they are on the run. They're always trying to outrun things. So as I shared with you earlier, picture a bank robber. What does the bank robber do? Well, these days they probably do it a different way, but way back when, the bank robber would case, C-A-S-E, case the joint, which means they would case the bank and figure out how many security guards are going on, what time to enter, where the cameras were, if there were cameras, all these kind of things. And they would figure it out. And no, I'm not a bank robber. And no, I don't play one on TV. I'm giving you an example what the narcissist does. But they would plan and figure out what time to rob the bank. Well, what happened? The bank didn't know this. The robber robs the bank, and next thing you know, the robber, wearing a mask, wink, wink, get my point? Like the Hamburglar with those things, with the eyes. Remember those things? Like that? I hope you're laughing. But the Hamburglar with the mask robbed the bank, and then what happens? Well, they're gone. They're nowhere to be found, and the mask is left on the ground. There's your narcissist right there. The thing is, they don't rob banks. They rob people of their mind, of their purpose, of their relationships, of their money, of their time, of their health, of their hobbies, of their peace, of everything they can take from them. The narcissist robs people from so many things, and once they get what they want, they do their best to slither off onto other sources of supply, because they're trying to outrun the former sources of supply. Think about what closure is. What is closure? Closure is when somebody sits down and discusses or explains or commiserates or sympathizes or empathizes with another person. You get on the same page, you get an answer, and it's not exclusive to this definition, but this is my definition for it right now. And then someone feels better and you move on. Example, somebody passes in your life. Somebody leaves the planet, they died. Well, you go to a funeral or a wake or a ceremony or an event of life, whatever it is, and you grieve. You get closure because you celebrate that tree of life or the person's life with other people. And you shed some tears and you tell some stories and you move on. That's closure. Narcissist doesn't want to give you closure. Narcissist wants you stuck and frozen in time while they can try to outrun you and outrun their other exes and outrun the bank system and outrun the legal system and outrun the court system and outrun the child custody system. I hope you understand what I'm sharing with you. This is what these people have been doing long before you knew about it, and it's what they'll be doing until we, the collective, get as strong as necessary so we can put a stop to all this narcissism and not give them the time of day. And we're doing a very good job, you want the truth, because more and more people are becoming awakened and aware, educated, and empowered. But you need to remember, and I'm going to close the video, the narcissist is always trying to outrun something. Like I shared, they're trying to outrun time, father time, what time you would come home, what time they go home, when they give you the silent treatment. When they don't, their former sources of supply, all the people that triangulated, all the people that they owe money to, all the people that they never paid back, and all the people that they left hanging. This is what the narcissist does. So if you think for a minute that the narcissist can be contrite and they can actually sit down and say, yeah, I was wrong. Wow, I blew up so many lives. Yeah, I stole money. Yeah, I cheated. I lied. I broke people's hearts. I forged people's identities. I stole 401ks. I stole my own siblings, part of the inheritance of my parents when they passed. I didn't pay people's rent. I didn't pay the rent in the last 3 apartments I lived in. I used a friend's car because I'm too cheap to buy my own car. I use the internet from my friend's house because I can and it's free. See, the narcissist is a sponge. They're a parasite, and all they want is a free ride from this whole thing called life. The narcissist doesn't want to lift a finger to do anything. Now, again, before I close it, you may say, well, the person I'm considering, they have a lot of money. They're very well kept. They wear the best clothes and they hang around with the best people. They only eat the best food and they have multiple houses and they're extremely successful. How did that happen? Well, how it happened is they probably stepped over 50 different people to get to where they are. You don't know about all the casualties of the relationships, plural, that they were a part of, that they blew up to get to where they are. All you see is the final result, which is the person who is a narcissist per you, that where they are in life today. But you need to go back in time, and although you can't do it because you weren't with them, you need to figure out, how did they get there? They probably were so cutthroat and so cunning and conniving and so narcissistic, they got to where they are, not by accident or coincidence, but because they bullied and beaten down and lied and cheated and stole so many other things from other people, that's how they got where they are. And yes, I could talk about this for the next 500 hours in a row. Just give me a little bit of water and a place to sit down. Everything isn't how it appears to be on this planet. Everyone isn't who they appear to be or claim to be on this planet. The narcissist is both, and they are at the top of the list of toxicity. You need to remember something, as I shared with you earlier. When you go to bed tonight, you'll be able to put your head on the pillow, and my hope is sleep like a baby. Narcissists can't do that. Never going to happen. The narcissist will burn themselves out. They will burn their smartphone batteries out. They will burn out whoever they're laying next to. They will burn out anybody that gets too close to them because they don't care about anybody. All the narcissist cares about is the here and the now. What have you done for me lately? Which is why they will go any which way the wind blows whenever they want to, and they are loyal to nobody. But they're always trying to outrun something, and they don't realize this, or maybe they're beginning to. They can't outrun the truth. They can't outrun a greater power, and they can't outrun Father Time. This will catch up with them. Maybe it catches up with them today. Maybe it catches up with them tomorrow. Maybe it's a week from now. Maybe it's next week. I can't tell you. What I can tell you is, believe me when I say this, the narcissist will get what's coming to them, and it will come from your hands. It's going to come from a much greater power than a human being, and they know this. That's why once you get the wisdom, you have to get off the radar of the narcissist. Go no contact, block them, delete them, remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all, and I will talk with you tomorrow. The weather is really getting warm. Today it's about 60, which is remarkable considering it's been much colder recently. Tomorrow should be much warmer even yet, which means, yes, spring is almost here. Number 2, for those of you who live in the United States, a week tomorrow, which is Sunday, March 8th, that will be when we turn the clocks back again. So fall back, move, or spring forward, we move the clocks forward an hour. But that's a time change, which means one more hour of sunshine. That should benefit you. It's going to greatly benefit me. But before I leave, I'll just share this with you. You're not outrunning anything. What you're doing is you're trying to play catch up. The person you're considering, they had an insurmountable lead or advantage over you from the minute you met them until you figured out what narcissism was. What you are doing is catching up, not to the narcissist, not to toxicity. You're catching up to your educational level, which is what I do. The narcissist will be trying to outrun you, anyone they encounter before you, and anyone they've just discarded or ruined their life most recently. But what the narcissist doesn't get is that it's going to catch up with them. Just like you figured out what narcissism was, you cracked the code, and there's the narcissist trying to say hi. Just like you figured out what narcissism is, they didn't want you to. Remember, if the narcissist wants you to do something, it's usually the polar opposite. It will benefit them, it won't benefit you. But what the narcissist is doing, they're always going to be on the go. They're always going to be on the run. Once you get the wisdom and you apply the tools, you will know everything you need to know, or mostly everything you need to know about humanity. And what you need to do is remember that where you are right now, away from the narcissist, is where you need to be. So maintain your boundaries. I love you all. God bless you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. That bird is having fun because he or she knows it's spring. Bye.